Ready.
Hello and welcome, everybody. This is Joe from Startuprad.io, your startup podcast and YouTube blog from Germany. As you can see from my eyes, it's already allergy season started here in lovely Germany, and you are watching the live stream of the Startup News March. We usually announce all of our live streams on Meetup. We are terribly sorry that we had to kind of shift around today, but Chris is traveling, as you can see
Yes.
from the very unfamiliar background at his place. But nonetheless, we still bring you startup news live.
Yes.
Sponsoring message:
Wait,
startups.
one sec. Are we sure this is live already? It says off air.
Here for me, it says live.
Okay, well, whatever. Then I'm fine. But yeah. Yeah, okay. So this is how I got myself into the conversation. I just wanted to say hello, and hello from my childhood bedroom in northern Hesse in the middle of Germany. That's what it is.
Sponsoring message. Startups.observer supports this program. Startups Observer is like online dating for startups and investors. It is by far the easiest and most efficient way to research potential investment candidates or look for potential investors. Learn more at startups.observer. And as you can already tell, Christian is traveling. We just talked before, and we'll bring you April and May news, and then we will take our summer break, and we will be back like beginning of September here again for you guys, right, Chris?
Yes, and then hopefully with some news then. But for now, let's focus on what happened in the last couple of weeks. So in the ecosystem, TechCrunch had a look at what's going on in Europe right now, and TechCrunch mostly said that, and I quote, Europe's high growth ecosystem is strong and weathering global storms despite trade wars, Brexit, and a European economic slowdown. Tech companies in Europe are still thriving. In fact, some are positively booming. Key companies named in the list include Deliveroo, TaxiFM, Darktrack, Bazool, and Perkbox. So even the lowest ranked company in the list of TechCrunch had a compound annual growth rate in revenue of nearly 40%. And so it's a positive thing about Europe. And I mean, I guess it goes along a bit with the political trends we see overall, that the global powers seem to shift a bit. So we see that reflected definitely in venture capital as well. Then there is a German insurtech startups, which raised more than 173 million US dollars in venture capital, according to a study from Finanzchef 24. We got a link to that press release. We have PitchBook, who wonders whether Berlin is Europe's next big tech hub. And we have also PitchBook about the 10 most active German VCs. Number one is Hightech Gründerfonds, followed by Global Founders Capital, and then Holzbrink Ventures, which belongs to a traditional old media publisher in Germany.
We may
And
also tell the people that Hightech Gründerfonds is approximately 50% backed by German government and 50%
oh yeah,
by big household names. And IBB Beteiligungsgesellschaft number 8 with 86 deals is also government backed in Berlin.
and as always with all these things, it's worth to look a bit at what they use in order to build their rankings. And for example, here it was the number of deals, and there obviously is the little caveat always that huge number of deals doesn't necessarily much or doesn't really tell you a lot about the size of the deals. And the last thing about the ecosystem is that crowdfunding appears to fall out of favor for startups. Only 72 million euros have been raised by startups that way in 2018 in Germany, compared to 218 million, at least in real estate crowdfunding in the same time. Oh, no, in real estate crowdfunding at the same time. Sorry.
Yeah, it
Media
appears
partner.
everybody wants to go into real estate crowdfunding, like with the open real estate funds. That people may get into trouble when they try to sell all at the same time again. We'll see.
Also, Yeah, but I mean, for Germans, probably this as an explanation for international viewers, Germans find real estate investments incredibly attractive, and they think that this is the one thing that will make sure that they have money once they retire. So,
Everybody thinks real estate prices only can go up as the people who like 10, 20, 15 years ago bought property in Detroit. Uh-huh.
yeah, yeah, sure. Yeah, and I mean, also in Germany, there are a couple of regions where it works out and others where it doesn't, and a couple where I think it's always been a promise and it doesn't necessarily pay off. And yeah, but I mean, this we can do in our special show, Christian's and Jörn's opinions about real estate investment. And it probably doesn't belong here. I have very strong opinions about that, but yeah.
Great. Oh, we'll do something if you guys want to. We're totally fine. Media partnerships. We are partners of Arctic 15. Last time we talked about it, arctic15.com. Applications are now open for the accelerator program Content Shift for all startups dealing in publishing ebooks, AI in some relation to books or magazines. You'll find a link to the application website in our show notes, as well as you can see the some of the startups that have been in the program last year. In the last batch, we made 5 interviews with the finalists at the Frankfurt Book Fair, as well as we are media partners of techjobsfair.com in April 2019 in Berlin and May 2019 in Vienna. Housekeeping.
Housekeeper. Oh yeah. No, you go. You're the
I go.
housekeeper.
Housekeeping. As usual, there's a lot going on in the YouTube channel, youtube.com/startup radio. We are now posting interviews from Landed in London. We went first with a threat mark, which helps to protect against fraud by analyzing how one fills out online forms, especially credit applications, and Compliant Advantage wants to revolutionize anti-money laundering. And we are media partners of Frankfurt Forward, which straight brings us to hubs, and I may just take Frankfurt, and then Christian can still do the rest.
Yeah.
We talked to the LogTech, which means logistics technology startup Cargo Steps, which is the startup of the month, March 2019. We had some awesome codes. Just have a look at the link and watch the video. With the Frankfurt Airport, we have lots of business here. That said, we are in the middle of Germany, and companies and freight from all over Europe just crossing behind us. Actually, there's a big autobahn as well as train tracks where they actually are getting a lot of traffic and freight business. And we asked them, many startups go to Berlin. Why didn't you go? And Mura just said simply, we need a working airport, right? That's a joke for Germans because the Berlin airport appears to be never be finished. Then we found a hidden gem, which we don't know why sneaked under our radar in the last few years. Rhine-based Biotech is Europe's largest not listed biotech startup. Biotech AG, a fully integrated biotechnology company pioneering individualized cancer immunotherapy. Now highest bank for an IPO worth up to 800 million, reports Reuters, citing sources. They already raised 80 million euros this year by investment from Sanofi, and last year they had a 270 million euro Series A. You'll find all links down here. And there is a study from Switzerland by University of Lucerne puts Geneva and Zurich in fintech, blockchain, as well as cryptocurrency, still ahead of Frankfurt and Berlin, writes CryptoScene. But all of the cities make it in the global top 20. Frankfurt makes it to number 14 globally, ahead of cities like Paris, Dublin, Seoul, Shanghai, Dubai, Tel Aviv, or Beijing. You'll find all the links down here. Frankfurt-based Credit Shelf makes runner-up in AltFi, Alternative Finance Awards, in category Alternative Financing Platforms. And Frankfurt-based venture capital arm of household industrial production company Bosch called Robert Bosch Venture Capital GmbH, RBVC, gets 200 million for a fourth fund. Deutsche Börse and Swisscom team up to build a digital assets ecosystem, reports CoinDesk, and the German financial regulator BaFin issues a paper on blockchain securities regulation. The Standard Chartered Bank, also in Frankfurt, hires a new CFO, and actually they snuck them away from Solaris Bank. And the Frankfurt Airport, Fraport, joins logistics startup initiative Haus 61, which we reported last episode, is in Kaiserstraße 61 in Frankfurt. Deutsche Börse Fintech Hub in Frankfurt as well starts a second startup and fintech intake, and R&V, one of Germany's largest insurance groups, starts a digital broker service with the assistance of Frankfurt-based Insurtech Clark, reports Versicherungsbote.de. R&V, we might add, is the insurance arm of all the cooperative banks, which make up a big share of the financial services, especially banking services, still in Germany. And Frankfurt-based pharma startup Pharmaco, spelled Farmako, just to make sure it's a special name, wants to import 50 metric tons for the Americans. That's 2,205 pounds of cannabis, forecasting Germany to be the worldwide biggest market for medical cannabis in the future. Whew.
We're going on with Rhein-Main-Wiesbaden, where we find Schuhe24, Schuhe24, the shoe seller, which makes it into Financial Times 1,000 fastest growing companies with 2,173% of growth on the spot number 38, and beating giants like HelloFresh, which was 50 spots behind the Germans and only 900% growth. But obviously, Schuhe24 is coming from a smaller base, which allows us to move on to news about companies, where we have the InsurTech Friday, which secured a 39 million euro media for equity investment from Seven Ventures and German Media Pool. So Seven Ventures is one of the biggest German private cable companies. In fintech, we see that Raisin, the marketplace for savings and investments products, acquired Frankfurt-based bank MHB Bank. And we see that InsurTech top 25 InsurTechs for 2019 included a couple of German companies, for
5
example.
altogether. So there are 20 from all other countries.
There you go. Fina Bro GmbH, WeFox headquarters, Autonova AG, Element Insure, and Dig Europe. Yeah, those are at least the handles.
2017 disclosures. You know, in Germany, when a company is large enough, it has to disclose its numbers, not on level like it would be traded on public markets, but they still have to make the balance sheet on a very aggregated basis and their P&L known. So 2017, we found Scalable Capital, Germany's largest robo-advisor, had to disclose 2017 numbers. Here we got some highlights for you. The assets under management grew from 110 million to 640 million euros. Of this, 270 million from their partnership with ING DiBa, which is part of ING Group. They make an average fee of 0.55% on assets under management, with ING only 0.33%, and they are likely not profitable yet. Home2Go, the vacation rental platform based in Berlin, had to publish numbers. Revenue grew by 208% to 36.6 million euros, lost only by 63 to 13.4 million euros, reports Deutsche Startups. In summer 2018, superfood startup Nu3 was bought in an emergency exit, by some called the worst of the year by online pharmacy shop Apotheke. Now Deutsche Startup found they burned more than 52 million before the exit.
Also not bad news for the Munich-based Internet of Things startups Mosaic. Bosch, Cisco, and ABB gave up on the company that wanted to develop a standard for connected devices. But we also have good news about mergers and acquisitions, venture capital, and corporate VC. For example, coming from Berlin, where we see WeFox Group, a Berlin-based insurance tech startup, raised 125 million in a Series B, led by Mubadala. Related to that, finally, a maybe soonicorn called WeFox Group raised 125 million. That's a huge Series B, so that's an additional source. You can find in our show notes about that. We see the Franco-German startup Doctorlib, an online booking platform for doctors, has raised 150 million euros from a pool of investors led by the US venture capital giant General Atlantic. And that fundraising brings the company's valuation to over €1 billion, $1.15 billion more or less, it said in a statement, taking it to the Uniform Club.
Flaschenpost,
Yeah,
a Münster, Germany-based startup, raised 50 million euros in venture capital from New York-based VC Tiger Global. They offer delivery of beverages within 2 hours in Germany.
Even here, I'm gonna try that out. Whether they can come to Witzenhausen. We have the fintechs Figo and FinReach, which merged under the umbrella of the FinLeap Society. Both work with APIs so that other apps and tools can integrate under PSD2. And we have German alarm and crisis management startup Serinus, which raises €1 million from Creator Ventures, says EU Startups.
Swiss crypto fintech startup Aimune AG raises 4 million, report Tech EU, as well as German speech analyzer startup i2x raised 10 million.
No, it was on the website of Flaschenpost already. I wasn't paying attention. Berlin-based iPlytics has amongst its clients Volkswagen and Huawei, who use their tool to search patents. Now they raised millions, as they disclosed, and venture capital reports Gründerszene. Again, as always, full disclosure, I'm also working for Gründerszene. Amongst the investors are HTGF and eCapital. And we have German crypto startup Donut, which secured 1.8 million in a seed round.
Looking to the very cold north, one of Canada's largest pension fund, OMERS, is launching a 300 million euro venture capital fund in the European region, aiming to invest long-term into technology startups. Keats, a German-based cloud kitchen startup, raised further 12 million, and Munich-based BrainLab acquires medtech startup Medineering. There is my show notes. Hang on, Medineering. I'm sorry, guys. This is all live. Companies, M&A, Medineering to scale its robotic surgery solutions, reports EU Startups. And I also put in here, it's a very interesting piece to think about. The Achilles heel of startup ecosystems is an article. Everyone is excited when a new startup gets funded in their ecosystem, but no one spends much time thinking about where the money comes from for that deal. Think about it.
Looking at e-commerce, it turns out most Amazon-branded goods are flops that don't threaten other businesses at all. In a study, they were looking at 23,000 products and found that shoppers aren't more inclined to buy the Amazon brands, even when the company elevates them in the search results. So that goes for all those Amazon basics, etc. you sometimes find there. And we saw that Home24, the rocket internet-backed online furniture store listed in Frankfurt, made it the first time into the top 20 furniture retailers by revenue in Germany with 170 million euros estimated. Number one still and always is IKEA with a bit more than 5 billion euros in Germany in revenue.
And keep in mind, guys, here that we are only talking about the estimated revenue for Germany. So they have to disclose their revenue, of course, since they are listed. But this is only about the German market. And mobility. Christian is usually a guy who likes to track everything mobile. And Chris is a digital assistant designed just for your car. I just
Which
love it.
is,
I had to put it at the end.
I think it's a good name. It's a good branding. So I'm pretty sure it will hugely succeed. So I don't have anything to add about that. I'm fine.
Me neither. Very sorry about the shifting of the time. And keep in mind, guys, there will be in April, there will be a May startup news, and then there will be a summer wrap up again in September. And I hope we see you very, very soon again around here. Thanks,
I'm
guys.
gonna now
Bye,
listen to some
Frankfurt.
of these. I'm gonna now listen to some of these embarrassing CDs from my childhood. That's what I'm gonna do. Let's see. Bye bye.
Enjoy.
See you then.
Guys, remember sharing is caring. Bye bye.
Bye.